I'll start off with the Mike Salzberg Waiver Wire Award, which we will be giving to Rags for his continuous blunders in the waiver wire. I believe he only has about like $20 left. My team might be bad, but at least I'm not broke. Let's jump right into game one. We'll start off with Kurt beating me 145.8 to 108.9. Good news is my team broke 100 this week. Super stoked on that. But in other news, Kurt's team is good and mine is bad. So game two is Rob taking down Will 150.1 to 95.5. Rob's team looks to be a bit of a force if he can get Lamar Miller to consistently play like he did last week. Will's team is still good. I think he winds up, still making the playoffs. Just goes to show you that the league is super close and anything can happen, except when you play my team, because then you'll just win. Game three is Pete versus Jordan, and not so much of a shock. Pete goes off for like 169 points and beats Jordan 119.6. Jordan would have wound up beating like half the league with his 119 points, but he was going up against Pete, so he lost. He plays Crispy next week, so that could be a bit of a close one. Game four is Ariel versus Nick. Ariel takes on Nick 124.8 to 104.7. Ariel's team is better than Nick's team, so this is not a shock. Nick is in similar situations as Jordan, Crispy, and I. Still bottom of the table for all four of us. Looks like it might be that way for the rest of the year. Game five is Virgil taking down Mike 145.5 to 97.6. Virgil, despite losing DJ and I think Greg Olson, is still putting up points. And Mike has his weeks. We'll see what happens next week when he takes on Nick. Last game of week 4 is going to be Rags taking down Crispy by a slim margin, 94.8 to 93.6. Game could have gone either way. I think Rags' record is probably a little better than it should be, but he'll probably still beat me next week to bring him to 4-1. Crispy plays Jordan, and like I said previously, that should be another tight one for the bottom half of the league. Jumping into week 5 previews, Rags and I are up against each other. Both of our teams look awful this week. Rags has a few people on bye. I only have Kamara on bye, which would have helped me out considering my team is so bad. I'm giving this one to Rags considering I'm 0-4 and he's not, and I'm also no stranger to being 0-5. So, game 2 for week 5 is going to be Mike up against Nick. I think this is a get-right game for Mike. His team seems to have the potential to go off, while Nick is looking pretty anemic. So I'm giving this one to Mike. Game 3 is Pete going up against Virgil. This is probably going to be a close one. I'm going to give it to Pete, but it probably would have been game of the week if not for the star-crossed lovers of Cleveland battling it out, both at 3-1. 4 is Ariel going up against Rob. I initially had Rob taking this one, but I don't think Lamar Miller or Buck Allen does anything this week. I'm going to give this one to Ariel. I think it'll probably be close either way, but we'll see. Game 5 of week 5 is going to be the game of the week. It's Kurt versus Will. Oh, man. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of jokes stemming from this one. Will's team looks worse than Kurt's team this week. Ajayi has been pretty shit, and Will took him, I think, in the 3rd round. Kurt gets Doug Martin back. We'll see what happens in this one. I know you guys are fond of each other, so hopefully there's no hard feelings in this one. Last but not least, Jordan going up against Crispy. I'm going to give this one to Jordan. Sorry, Chris. I think he actually puts together a decent week. Smallwood and Funchess, I think, actually could be solid pickups. Funchess has had back-to-back weeks of solid production. He's getting the looks, especially with Olsen out, and Smallwood seems to be the guy in Philadelphia getting the load of that work. we'll see. That about wraps up week 4, week 5. I hope you all the best of luck. And if you guys have any like recommendations for segments or anything, or if anybody wants to put in some work and send me some videos, I'll be more than happy to include them here. I was gonna do the GroupMe thing, but honestly, like, I'm not really sure how to format it, or I kind of forgot how I did it last year too. So, yeah, see you guys next week.